so much because this is a place where the revolution is going to kick off next year. That's the power of this place. I also love these office openings. They feel like little clubhouses. If you all weren't here, I would literally just run around this in like a circle, like a dog. It's really I just imagine all of the activity, the work, the pizza, maybe the beer or two. Yeah! That are going to get consumed in this room. This office. And it brings me a lot of joy. Yesterday, someone told me that they'd fallen in love through the campaign, and that's the kind of thing that gave me joy. This campaign is so human, and this office opening is a sign that we are growing fast and strong right here in Iowa. Yeah. So I was in Atlanta for the debates. You all saw the debates. Raise your hand if you saw the debate. You might probably saw that.
Great performance, man.
And what was great was, despite the limited airtime,
you made the most sense.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But it wasn't just you that thought so. America thought so. And I got the highest favorability bump of anyone on that stage. Every indicator's heading in exactly the right direction from Atlanta. I then sat down with Martin Luther King III. I don't know if you all know Martin Luther King. And we sat down and talked about his dad's work, and he was shocked that his dad did not come up at a debate in Atlanta. Atlanta is literally a birthplace of Dr. King, where his church was, where his resting place is, and he didn't come up once. We were in Tyler Perry's studio. So I was like, guaranteed Martin Luther King's coming up. But then I sat down with his son, and we were reflecting on the fact that we were both shocked and surprised that he did not come up. And I talked to Martin Luther King's son, and you know what's the wildest thing in the world? Is when someone refers to Martin Luther King as dad. He literally would say, he'd be like, yeah, when dad would talk about this, and I was like, oh my gosh. This guy just called Martin Luther King dad because it is his dad. So he said when dad talked about his vision for the country, he talked about how we need to make it an economically just society in order to move forward. And I said, your dad was so far ahead of his time, and that we have somehow sanitized his memory, where we celebrate his birthday every single year, but we don't talk about what he was fighting for anymore. And his son said, you're right. And then we decided to do all we can. And he said, he's like, look, I can't endorse you because, you know, I'm Martin Luther King III, and if I endorse someone, like I become political in a particular way, because he heads a nonprofit. I don't know if you all know there are rules around nonprofits and politics.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He said, but your vision is exactly what Dad would have wanted to put forward.
Yes. Wow.
And that meant so much to me to hear. So that was Atlanta the day after the debate. And then we went to South Carolina, where the crowds were bigger and better than we'd ever seen in state. How many of you saw the pictures from last night? Yeah, the energy was super high, and the folks in South Carolina are pumped up and ready to go. And then we flew in here last night, and here you all are. I gotta say, when you run for president, this is the best feedback you get. You go around, and you see the message growing, the people responding. I've been here to Iowa, this is my 23rd time. Wow. And it just gets better every single time. Hell yeah. Now, it seems like you all are pretty hardcore Yang Gang, is that right? Yeah! So I want us all to give a chance. How many of you all are just Yang curious? Like, wait, we got him over there, look, here's his hand. Yang curious, let's go. Gang curious.
The media's Yang curious.
This guy right here.
This gang of media is Yang Gang. Don't let them tell you otherwise. All right, so we got a few people who are Yang curious, and I don't want to give you the full stump, but please do, if you have a chance, ask people some questions as to how they came to learn about the campaign and what their process was. The fundamentals of this campaign are that we have to rewrite the rules of the 21st century economy to work for us, to work for the people of this country. That our government has been overrun by corporate money, been taken captive, and most of America looks up and sees the plumbing of government just plugged up with money, with cash. And then you look up and say, my vote can't do anything about it, except here in Iowa, your vote can do everything about it. Here in Iowa, each of you is worth about 1,000 Californians. So when you look around this room, what's the fire code of this room? I really don't know. Yeah, right. So let's say, he said 12. So let's say the fire code in this room is 100. There are 99 of you here. That's like 99,000 Californians. That's like 2.5 football stadiums full of Californians. That is the magic of this place, where the message of a new economy that works for us, when it launches here next year on February 3rd, it's going to wake up the rest of the country just like that. That is your power, and it does not even take that many of you. That's the wonder of it. That's why the 1,000 Californians thing is totally accurate. Where you get your friends, family, neighbors, you don't even need that many Iowans to change the direction of this country. And I'm going to go a little further and say when the direction of this country changes, we can actually influence world history. Because if you can imagine the headlines, not just the United States of America, but around the world, when it says, Andrew Yang won Iowa on February 4th. And I'd like to see them try to omit me from a graphic then. Because that's going to be some really funny looking graphic. It's going to go 2, 3, 4. That's going to be quite a challenge. Well, that's not just going to make headlines here in the U.S., it's going to ripple around the world, and people are going to look up and say, wait a minute. It's true, technology is transforming our way of life fundamentally. You know, it's like, what's funny is you see the light bulbs going off, like the first time that you found out about this campaign, they're like, oh yeah, the robot guy. And then they're like, wait a minute, I see the same things he sees. Like, I see UPS investing in robot trucks. I see the self-serve kiosks in every McDonald's and CVS and grocery store. I hear the software on the other line when I pick up the phone. I see the Main Street stores closing all around me. And I don't think about that as robots, but wait a minute, the Amazon fulfillment center is filled with robots. And in the hotel last night, I saw this, I saw this bullshit Amazon commercial where they had these like happy employees being like, yeah. It's like, are you kidding me? We know how that goes. Like, they literally wear bracelets at the Amazon fulfillment center where it like starts chirping at them if they're not packing fast enough.
Oh my God.
You know, that wasn't in the commercial. It was the person being like, oh no, my freaking Running Man bracelet is chirping.
Running Man.
So we all see it around us all the time. We're in the midst of the greatest economic transformation in our country's history. Our politicians either want nothing to do with it or don't understand it. Our government is out of touch and does not care. It is going to be up to us to say, one, we get it. We understand the true nature of the problems. It's not immigrants. It's technology that's causing disruption around the country. And then we have real solutions. Like a dividend of $1,000 a month that's going to make every single American stronger, healthier, mentally healthier, improve relationships, decrease stress levels, improve graduation rates, reduce domestic violence, reduce hospital visits. We can rewrite the rules so that it works for us, for you all, and we don't have a choice. Because if we don't make this move, what happens over the next 4 years? The AI gets smarter, the self-driving cars and trucks start hitting the highways, more stores close, the self-serve kiosks at McDonald's go from the front of the house to the back of the house, because they're actually working on robot burger flippers and fry cookers in the back.
They're already here.
They're already here.
Yeah.
This is where humanity turns the tide. Am I right? Yeah! This is the place. This is the magic. This is why I love it so much. So we have a little bit of a competition. We're kind of a numbers-oriented campaign. As you know, how many of you are excited to go canvas this morning? Yeah! We're going to have a little competition where whoever knocks on the most doors, you got to do a good job. You can't just knock and run. Whoever knocks on the most doors is going to join me on stage at the rally a little bit later today. Now, I meant to go canvas. I think I was supposed to go across the room, but that's going to be very difficult for me to sign up in canvas. But they have a few doors for me to knock on. I can't wait to surprise some islands.
Oh, yeah!
But know that everyone you talk to is a difference maker. And I know that sometimes, and I'm going to share, like I was a very nerdy, introverted Asian kid. I just like read my books and played my role-playing games. Woo! Yeah. And I had an older brother who was almost as nerdy. like relatively speaking, he was the cool one. I guess you know, he's older, and I was like, oh. Anyway.
And now you're running for president.
But just know, I understand the occasional awkwardness you feel when you're like trying to talk to someone. And sometimes, you know, they don't have much of an interest level. But then every once in a while, you see like the spark go off, the light go off, and the interest get awakened. And when you have that experience, I hope you feel the same rush of satisfaction and victory that I feel. When I was this nerdy kid growing up, my parents told me to do well in school and get good grades, and I tried to do that. And it was only when I got older that I realized that I was never going to achieve my goals if I didn't break out. And then I started reaching out to people in different ways. A lot of it was frankly to try and get a date, I'll be honest. Like talking about it's like I had big goals in the world. I was just trying to get a date.
Classic.
Then eventually I found Evelyn. Thank goodness for that. I just got off the phone with Evelyn. You know, she's with the boys back in New York. She was with me in Atlanta for the debates, and then she flew back to see them. They're all very happy. You know, Christopher, we have him in karate. He's 7. He's pretty terrible, honestly. But anyway, she's bringing him to karate. That's where she is. So I understand the resistance you feel both internally and externally, sometimes reaching out to people. But you have to know that every conversation, every contact, every door you knock on makes a huge difference. And that the same growth that I've experienced over the last number of years, where you feel like when you reach out, it's hard, but then it gets a little easier every time you have a victory, either big or small. I hope you feel the same thing when you do get that click. How many of you had the experience where you send a video or podcast or interview of me to friends? Like, how many of you had that?
That was me!
Every day.
Oh, thank you, every day. And I know how it goes. You send it to them like, yo, check this out. And then you hear nothing for like a few days.
Yeah.
But then, like a week later or 2 weeks later, they're like, hey, like I saw your guy, or I finally looked at it, or whatnot. How many of you had that experience? Yeah, so when you meet people face to face, it's going to be similar. Like you're going to say something to them, and it may or may not seem like they're listening, but I guarantee you they heard you. Because people recognize passion when they see it. People respond to other human beings. And our campaign has something that other campaigns cannot buy. There are some of the other campaigns out there, all they have is money. You know what I mean? You can see it. They're like, hey, I'm really rich.
We got genuineness.
You know, we have the opposite, gang.
Yeah.
Nobody.
All we have. We raised $10 million last year. And increments of only $30 each. So I say my fans are almost as cheap as Bernie's. There's a very cheap, wholesome gang that joined. I was with Bernie on the debate stage the other day, and Bernie's like a hero and role model of mine. And so I've been around Bernie now like a dozen times and whatnot. And at first I was like, I don't know if he likes me, because you can't really tell. Really sort of gruff. But then he said to a journalist like last month, he's like, I like Andrew. And then I was like so touched. I was like, Bernie likes me. And then when I saw Bernie this week, I was like, hey Bernie, like, thank you for the kind words. And then he did something he'd never done before. He actually put his arm around me. And then he was like, of course I like you, Andrew. And a lot of good stuff at the table. It's like so touching. So our fans are almost as cheap as Bernie's. We've got a lot of them. There's zero corporate money in this campaign. And I joke, the companies would never send the random Asian guy. They'd be like, this is going to work great. Send this guy. This campaign is purely of us. It's a purely grassroots funded campaign. And the media, I'm happy to say, is waking up. Waking up the people. The American people are a sleeping giant, and we are going to wake them up, Iowa! We're going to let the rest of the country know it's not left, it's not right, it's forward! Where you are going to bring us! Thank you, that was beautiful. That was like military in its precision. Yeah, Donald Trump got some of the problems right. Unfortunately, the problems are real. He said he was going to make America great again, and what did Hillary Clinton say in response?
It's already great.
America's already great. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that did not work out. We have to acknowledge the depth and reality and severity of the problems, but we need real solutions that Americans can understand and we know would work.
Yes.
What were Donald Trump's solutions? He's going to build a wall. He's going to turn the clock back. He's going to bring the old jobs back.
Alligators in a moat.
We have to do the opposite of these things, Iowa. We have to turn the clock forward.
Yes.
We have to accelerate our economy and society for today. We have to evolve in the way we think about ourselves and our work and our value. And I am the ideal candidate for that job because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. I'm not sure where the music's going.
When I say yang, you say gang! Yang! 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 When I say Iowa, you say vote yang! Iowa! Vote yang! Iowa! Vote yang! Iowa! Vote yang!
Man, what do I do without him?
Love you, Andrew!
Love you too, man. Sometimes I walk into the street and there's no one even chanting my name and I don't even know what to do.
I got you!
Hire Amelia.
What's the number one criteria for Democratic primary voters in this election? Beat Donald Trump. That's right. And what they have not caught on to yet, but you all know, is that there's one candidate that's already peeling off thousands of disaffected Trump voters and independents. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
And independents and libertarians, as well as Democrats and progressives. There's one poll that showed I was one of only 2 candidates that 10% or more of Donald Trump voters say they would support in the general. Which means that I am the strongest candidate to take him on and beat him in 2020. And most of his attacks don't even work on me. He's like, oh, you're like a politician? He's like, oh, that doesn't work. It's, I don't know. It's like woke stuff doesn't really work so well. It's one reason why 10% or more of his supporters say they would support Andrew Yang in the general. And I was talking to a friend whose mom is an avid Fox viewer, and I've been on Fox like a dozen times, but she said that Andrew Yang is the only Democratic candidate I would support because he's the only one who does not seem to be judging me. And Iowa, she's not the only one who feels that way. People actually sense the truth when they hear it, and when they see me, they sense I just want to solve the problems. I don't have any ideological underpinnings where I'm like, oh, it's like a Republican said that. It's like if a Republican says something good, that's a good idea, great, let's do that. And it's one reason why Republicans actually think that they can work with me. You're going to see, I get so many messages from various people, like Amelia, who voted for Donald Trump, being like, hey, I'm coming your way this way, but also from people in the Republican establishment who are so eager to get a break from Trump. It's true. I mean, you wish they were a little more public and courageous about it. I mean, it's part of the reason why our machinery is so broken, is they feel like if they say what they really think, then they're never going to win another election in their district again. And so much of Washington, D.C. is about staying in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Washington, D.C. is the richest metro area in this country. What the heck do they produce? Anyone know? Apparently they produce a lack of accountability and McMansions. Those are the things I've seen. I'm like, go to this town and be like, what's your industry again? Man, there's a lot of money rattling around here. You guys must make something. It's like, no, they don't. They just want to crouch there like spiders, being like, ooh, like, you know, just pretty much like any period of time I can like stay in this town. It's like a win for me. It's one reason why I'm for term limits for Congress people at 12 years. The mission should be to go to DC, get some good work done, and then come home. And if you want to make DC your home, then tough luck. You know what I mean? I mean, you can do it, but you just can't do it on our dime.
Right.
Oh, there it is. So this is the vision that we can make real very, very quickly. Restoring government to us, restoring the value that's getting produced in the 21st century to us through a trickle-up economy from our people, our families, and our communities up. We know this would work. We know $1,000 a month in our hands would go right to what? What would you spend it on?
Student loans.
Student loans.
Medical bills.
Medical bills.
Rehab for family.
Food.
Rehab for family.
Debt.
House.
How much of it would stay right here in Iowa?
Yeah.
Not all of it. You might get your own Netflix password instead of passing it over. Because you're tired of getting blocked occasionally because your friend's actually using it. And you're like, what's going on? So a little bit of it would float up to the cloud, but the vast majority of it would stay right here in Iowa. It would go to car repairs you've been putting off, and daycare, and Little League sign up, and local organizations, and buying a home, and doing all the things that make your community stronger. And the great thing is, the big guys win too. Do you think AT&T is going to have a few more customers if everyone's getting $1,000 a month? Yeah. Like, you know who else is for a version of this plan? Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. Because he's like, you know what? That's going to mean more customers for us.
Right.
Jamie Dimon came out and said our economy is now not working for the vast majority of Americans, and we need to just have a guaranteed income floor for all Americans. Does that sound familiar? You know, it's like Andrew Yang, like the Maverick candidate. He's freaking CEO of JP Morgan Chase. They had the same thing. You know, and he knows it's a win for him. He knows the trickle-up economy would work for everyone. Blasting the American middle class is bad for not just us, but it's bad for the big businesses too. It's wild that it's gotten this far, Iowa. I don't mean this campaign, I mean the rot. You know what I mean? Like, Donald Trump wins, and people are still trying to figure out why he won. To me, it was obvious. It was that our feedback mechanism has completely broken down. The people don't think our government's actually responding, and you are right. The folks in DC don't have any accountability to us anymore. That's how someone like Donald Trump wins, and this is how we are going to win. Are you with me? Yes. So let's get out there today. Let's knock on some doors and just know they are listening to you. They see the reality. They see the humanity. They see the passion. That is how we are going to win, and that is how we are going to make history together. Let's see that headline and let's fight for it.
You say vote Yang, Iowa. Vote Yang. Iowa. Vote Yang. Iowa. Vote Yang. Iowa. Vote Yang.
You all are incredible. I'm going to walk outside, but I'm not going far. I'm going just far enough so that we can get a selfie line going. Because I love you all. Let's remember this day, and let's make this a day we are very, very proud of, because we've got 2.5 months to set the world on a different course. Thank you all.
Yang beats Trump. Yang beats Trump. Yang beats Trump.